Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Best Books Ever. I'm Tyler, and today we are talking about the entire book, The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. Obviously, we just came off of like the main series of the Kingkiller Chronicle with Wise Man's Fear, and then before that, The Name of the Wind. And this is not book three. Book three, unfortunately, does not exist, or at least not for the public. But this is a short story that I have never read, and this one focuses on Auri. Um, yeah, so let's just get into it. Not really too much to talk about, because I thought it was funny. Pat had a little bit of a like forward in the beginning of the book, and it was him basically saying that I mean, he, he didn't say that this book is a bad book, but he did sort of like contextualize it that this book is not like his other two. So if you're in love with the first two and you wanted more of that, this is not that. But if you wanted more of Ari or more of the under thing, that sort of stuff, then you might like it. And for me, Ari's always been pretty cool. Um, if I were to pick any character to make another like side book of, Ari would not be one of them. Probably not even one of the first ones, but she's cool. And then we also have the under thing, which I think is very interesting, because it's like this whole other world almost. That's like under the university that seemingly no one else really talks about or knows about or whatever. Um, so to see more of that was pretty neat. But yeah, I think after all that, with it more so just being like a week of kind of just like slice of life Ari, I think there are a few little gems to kind of pick out of this. And will they do anything for us leading into book three? Probably not. I mean, I'm not sure how big of a character Ari is going to be in book three. Um, like how important she is. I'm sure we'll see her because it'd be crazy if we didn't at least once. Um, but oh, and I do believe I actually don't know. I actually have no idea. I thought that this book takes place in the first book, but then I'm like, maybe it's the second book because he's gone. Because like in this one, he's only gone for a week, right? And in Wise Man's Fear, he's gone for a while. So it must have been the first book. That's the only time he really leaves. Oh yeah, yeah. Because I think this might take place when he went to Trebin, right? Or did he not meet Ari yet by that point? No, I'm pretty sure he did. Cause yeah, he wasn't gone for too long. He was gone for like a few days or so. So yeah, that would track, I think. Um, yeah. So a few gems to kind of pull out of this. Don't have too many notes. Um, One thing which kind of has like a memory flashback type deal is we remember when Kvothe was. I think it was the first time that Ari showed him the under thing, and he pulled up his sympathy lamp. The one that he made, the one that Kelvin was like, we can't have this be around. This is a lamp made for thieves, even though that's not what Quoth was making it for. He had that, but then he looked at Ari and he saw Ari also had light. It was like something in her hand. It was like shining. Um, and he wanted to ask her about it, but he was like, I know questions can like make her run away, can kind of scare her off. And, something like that seems kind of personal. That seems like that'd be a bad idea. But now we learn what it is, and I'm still not 100% sure what it is, but it, seems like a like stone with the, through the means of alchemy, she has been able to make it glow. And I'm assuming like every so often she needs to like redo it or something. Because I feel like there was a time there where she said that it was like getting dim or something. But that's cool. Just one, now we kind of learn what that is, even though, I'm sure we could have put the pieces together. But I think more so this is neat because I think Ari as a character is fascinating. Because at first glance, I think you just want to write her off as, she's a little bit cracked in the head. She's one of the unfortunate souls that went to the university and something broke her mind. Um, and while I think that's partially true, although we don't really know her past, and I'm sure we probably never will, because again, I don't think Ari's ever going to really give up that info. I think she is too fragile for that, and I don't think Kvothe is ever going to ask her. It would have to be like through some other means that Kvothe gets that information. Um, well, I think that's partially true. She's not gone. She has some weird quirks, but I think that she is still very smart and very clever. Even something like this, where it's like, I'm not 100% sure if she found Foxen or if she made him, but like, even through some of the other things that we see in this, in this little story, we do see her kind of make things, and like have knowledge of things as well. Like remember her time at the university being a proper student. Um, so I don't know. I think that's important. And it also shows like the scope of the university and the bar that is set, where it's like within that school, there's people towards the bottom that probably just stay a leer for a very, very long time. Aside from Monet, who kind of chooses to stay a leer. And there's people at the top that become like Relar and other stuff above that. I don't remember all the rankings, but just being at the university and studying there, you get an immense amount of knowledge. So even the people that are kind of cracked, they are still very smart, very clever, and have a lot of, you know, know a lot of small things, either about sympathy or alchemy or chemistry. So I think that's cool. Um, what else do we have? What else I want to talk about? Like I said, I don't have too many notes, so I didn't really categorize them like I normally do. I don't really gather them in the same way because there's barely like, you know, there's like a quarter of the amount of notes that I usually take. Um, what else? Oh, one thing that I thought was cool with, again, kind of something about her connection with Kvothe. That seemed to be like a big moment for her. Is being named by Kvothe. We don't know Auri's name before this, or I guess birth name. But she really sticks to Auri. She clings to that. She even briefly thought about, kind of like her time before that and how it's been a while since she's been, seemingly like depressed and like really down on herself and like everything's falling in. And then there was the day where she heard music, and that was Kvothe. And then there was the day that they were able to talk, and he gave her a name. And there's so many times throughout this book where she's like, I'm Auri, that is me, like that, you know what I mean? She holds that in very, very high regard. So yeah, I just thought that was cool too, because there's a lot of both sides when it comes to Kvothe. There are some kind of more treacherous things that he kind of meddles with, but then there's also the very nice thing, the very positive things that he leaves out in the world. Um, Again, we've talked about it before, of like, him like helping that girl. I think it was Nina, was that her name, right? The like one with the like quote unquote charm. So there's a lot of small things that he's done that kind of help people out, just out of the goodness of his heart. I mean, even when he went back to not Scarpy, but the other dude that has like the basement and helps people. I don't remember what his name is, but like he didn't have to, but he went back there and tried to give him a lot of money and tried to give him like shoes and food and like helped him out with chores just to kind of like pay it back. And so this is another example of something Kvothe wasn't even really thinking about. He wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna give her a name and this is gonna mean the world to her. He just kind of did it, and he seems to be like the one ray of light in her life. So that's cool. Let's see. Another thing about just Auri's life is her life in the Underthing, and how how precarious it seems to be. Like how many moments throughout the book where whenever she even thought about someone possibly invading on her space, which is funny that's her space, but it's the entire under thing. Like it's huge, it's gigantic, it's a maze, it's but like this is her space. And so thinking of someone invading it and possibly finding her and then what could happen to her, but also like what could happen to the place. She has a very deep connection to this place and the things in this place. She talked about her like hard work over the last however many years that she spent trying to put everything in its place and make sure that everything about this is right. One of the key moments there that kind of stuck this point out for me was when she started to freak out with the bird. The nightjar was making noise, and that was like a sign to her. And she ran over and saw that one of the pipes was like cracking. And so she immediately like fixed it. She like put like some stuff over. I don't remember what it was. She put a few coats over it, and she like turned the thing to make sure the water's going and all that. And the reason why she was so frantic about that is because if like the pipes burst and there's something wrong with like the water lines, people above, people in the university or whatever, and the dorms, whatever, however many people this affected, they probably would have had to investigate to be like, what's going on, like people are going to notice when their water isn't working, either properly or just not at all. And so that would cause at least a few people to be coming down there, and then that would have put quite a lot in jeopardy for her. And so she like frantically ran, all this stuff. So I liked moments like that because, I don't know. Again, it shows a lot of her fragileness, and I don't know. This whole book is a very interesting peek into her life. Um, it does kind of add to my curiosity of her, like how this ends. Like what happens in the third book with her character. Um, or seems to be getting closer and closer to Kvothe. I mean, Kvothe is even letting her into the reverse. She's letting Kvothe into the under thing, something she's probably never done with anyone before. So yeah, I'm very interested to see like what the end game is for her character in this story, other than her just being a character. What else do we have? I think an overall just like mystery of this place is also what adds to this story and makes this story fun. Her saying that there's like these 12 doors and she's only opened 3 of them. It's like, how massive is this place? What's under here? And then even me talking about her cleverness. That was one thing that always left Cole a little confused and a little concerned of like, how does Auri survive? Like where does she find like food and water and clothes and soap and waters, like clean herself, all this stuff. But then we do have, again, a little bit of a peek into her life, and we do see she just kind of finds things and like she knows where things are supposed to be. A lot of times she just stumbles upon them, but then again, like I said, she does have knowledge. Like we had the moment where, again, things invading her space. It seems like some animal or something ate all of her soap, and she was furious. About the soap being gone, but also about like, how dare something do this? But then what she do? She made more soap. Like she made it. So again, I think that Kvothe is right to worry about her, but I think that he would be pleasantly surprised at how resourceful she actually is. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have too much. There's just like little moments that I thought were fun, like Auri hid one of the little crystals into the like trunk of a tree because she knew that some like little girl was watching her, and like add something to her life because she knew, or she would hope that the little girl was courageous enough, after Auri left, and because strangers. That she would reach up and like reach into the tree all the way to her shoulder so that she can pick out the crystal. And it's like a little thing because the little girl is kind of watching her. So again, just kind of adding some like fanciness to people's lives. Because that's kind of how she lives her own life. She mentions at least a few times about how free she is. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, not really too much. Yeah, that's mostly it. I mean, there is the end, kind of the end sequence, which I like because we know that she's waiting for Kvothe, and she's trying to get like the perfect present for him. That is kind of like her in the back of her mind throughout the entire week. But then there's the moment where she drops Fulcrum. Fulcrum shatters into three pieces, and you immediately think, "Oh no, Auri's gonna lose it." But then she's happy, she's relieved, and it's like, oh, she takes this as a positive. She took this as a sign. Broke into three pieces. It finally clicked. I'm not looking for a present for Kvothe. I'm supposed to bring him three things. Everyone knows that. She knows that Kvothe, when he returns, he's gonna bring her three things, and that makes it so much easier because, in her eyes, it's a lot easier to bring three things to someone than one gift. Just with like how they like fit into each other, I guess. So that was actually good. And then even like, she's like, oh, well, things break doesn't mean it's wrong. A lot of things break, eggs break, right? And then finally, some of these other things that she was looking at throughout this week all made sense to her. Like one of them was like the sheet, because one of the things that she made for him was a place to stay. Which is funny because we never really heard about that. So it's nice that he has like a place to stay down there. If he ever needs to. And then the other thing was a candle. She made a candle for him, which is awesome. The third thing was it wasn't explicitly stated, but it feels like it was a kiss, which again, I sound very stupid right now because this already happened. We already saw the meeting of, like Kvothe coming back and everything, and I'm pretty sure she does give him a kiss. Doesn't she like kiss him on the forehead, I think, or something like that, right? I think I remember that. Yeah. But yeah, so again, she's an interesting character because the way she thinks is different than any other character we've met so far. Kind of like how she describes objects and the life or the secrets within them. I do think that matches Kvothe very well. And another reason why I think Kvothe really does like her and likes spending time with her, because it is a very, even though he's not into poetry, he wouldn't be caught dead writing poetry. It is a very poetic way of thinking. And she just does it, right? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, a lot of this book is her just kind of being in different places, describing objects, moving objects, because, oh, it's not right here, it's supposed to fit right here. Yeah. So not a lot of like action and like, it's only one character. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else to say. Again, it was a quaint, I don't know if quaint's the right word, but it was a neat little story, nice little peek into Auri's life, a character that we've seen multiple times, and now we kind of see her on her own and like how she spends her free time. Because I think that is a question some of us would have had, of like, what does Auri do? Where does she go? So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. Again, not too much to say about this. We will be doing this again next week in a very similar fashion, because we're going to read the other big novella, I guess the other one that I see people talk about, The Narrow Road Between Desires. That's the other novella that I'm going to read with y'all. And that one, all I know about that one, similar to this one about being about Auri, Narrow Road is apparently about Bast. And so I believe we're gonna get a very similar sort of like structure where it's gonna be now kind of like a slice of life of Bast's life. So we'll kind of see what he does when he's not with Reshi, which is fun. I think his has even more promise. Again, I like Ari, but Bast, Bast is a little sinister. You know, Bast is a little sinister. He's Fey, so it's like, what are we getting into here? But I'm excited for that. We're gonna read the entire book just like this one. This one is a little longer, but not by much. So should be pretty doable. If this one was doable, Narrow Road is doable. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you thought of Slow Regard of Silent Things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So next time, we're going to read that book, Narrow Road, and also going to announce what the next series we're going to pick up is. That's going to be a good time. But yeah, that's it. The next time, read that novella and come with your guesses on what the next series is going to be. There's a non-zero chance that you'll be able to guess it.